Welcome back to the Dolor Factor. I'm here with Onella Flavien and we're talking about education, being young, life in general. And now I would like to talk about how adults can help the youth in terms of their attitude, in terms of the way that they can encourage the youth to want to learn to the best of their ability. Now, I've said all that, Onella. How did your parents help you after receiving your CXC results? How did they help you to plan the next step?
Okay. Well, my parents, they allowed me to make the decision that I wanted. So, and they just encouraged me in the path that I wanted to go. So my mother didn't tell me, well, you study law, you study food and nutrition, you'll be a chef. Mm-hmm. She actually allowed me to make my own decision, and she encouraged me in the path that I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. Have you heard differently in terms of, young people being told to do the things that their parents wanted them to do?
Yes, I have. I have a friend who his father wanted him to be a doctor, and it's really bad because he's thinking of dropping out because he's depressed and that's not what he wants to do. He wants to become a computer technician, and he's trapped in yeah.
But I'm glad you said that, because I think of a lot of parents. I know that you've read enough, and I'm sure you watch a lot of television to know that it's not something that's rare in terms of children feeling that they have to do what their parents want them to do. I think many years ago, our parents did what they needed to do to make money.
Yeah.
They did what they needed to do because they needed to get a job, to pay. I'm sure your parents, or maybe your grandparents, if you knew them, said, told you stories about how they had to do certain things because they had to send money back to their grandparents or to their parents to look after the children and so on. But in this day and age where we have a choice to do the things that we want to do, I think it's very sad that parents want their child to be a doctor or a lawyer or what they perceive to be the career.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's the career that they wanted to have, but they couldn't have, so they put it over to their children.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you've heard of that, not just from your friends.
Yeah, I have. Like I said, my friend was in a similar situation because his parents wanted him to do something that he was not interested in, and he ended up in a state of depression and not coming to school, skipping classes, and he's really thinking of quitting. And he's using it as a revenge for his parents.
It's sad. I think that you must have heard, other people talk about, others who want to do things in life, but for some reasons they're not able to move forward. Sometimes it's not just education, it's just the things that they would like to do, but parents seem set in stone in the path that they want their children to do. Now, with all with your CXC grades now, if your parents had said to you, okay, we want you to do X, because you changed earlier to please your mom because you didn't want to see her sad and so on, would you have said, well, okay then, mom and dad, this is what you want me to do, I'll do it? Would you have done that, do you think?
I wouldn't have done that because at the end I would not be happy with that decision. So I wouldn't have done that. I would try to convince her and to let me do something else, the thing that I want to do.
So why gynecology?
Well, gynecology is really interesting, and it links with childbirth, babies. Babies are really cute, and I just...
Well, you could have been a midwife.
Yeah, midwife, yes.
Yeah. But I mean, it is an unusual thing. And I'm not putting you off because I admire your decision, and we do need, good gynecologists. To say, well, I want to be a gynecologist because you are going to be dealing with females And that area of medicine is a very personal type of thing, because it's not just a matter of, well, I think I have a problem in this area, that's why I'm going to see a gynecologist. We are always advised to go and see a gynecologist when you reach a certain age, for your pap smears and all those kind of things, and just in case there are, now correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I know it to be, right? And you have to start learning about your very own anatomy and how things in the body function. But again, you said that you're very interested in things like that.
I am.
But still, I mean, why gynecology? You could have been a surgeon, you could have looked at eyes, you could have been a medical doctor.
Well, biology on the whole interests me. From the time I was in secondary school and I studied biology, I was really interested in it. And then I became even more interested in the subject of female parts, and like how babies develop and how a sperm and an egg can fuse to form a baby. That just really fascinates me. Yeah, when you watch the video, it's really emotional. Yeah.
Okay. When you actually said that, I thought of the first lesson that I had about sex education. Can you remember your first lesson of sex education in the classroom? No, in the classroom. Yeah. What was the response when the teacher started talking about
Everybody laughing, noise, it was wild.
Yeah. You know, that's the same response that we had. But at the time, I didn't feel embarrassed. It just felt like it was just fun. It was just...
Yes.
Now, how would you know, you're studying to be a gynecologist. If you had to be looking at sex education classes, because I know it's different because you're looking at, you know, female areas, how would you advise the teachers today to start a class on sex education?
Wow.
I'm asking you this as a young person, and not as, you know, an achiever. I just think it's interesting to hear your perception of how a sex education class should start.
I think they're doing a pretty good job of what they're doing right now.
Oh, that's a cop-out. I don't know what they're doing right now, but you know what, I think that teachers nowadays have a better relationship with their students in terms of, I mean, adult things. I don't mean adult sexuality and so on, but a more maturity. Because back in the day, well, in my days, sex wasn't something that we spoke about very often anyway, much less a teacher telling you about that. But I think now that there are certain expectations, and you're expecting your teacher to talk to you about these things, and so you're mature. A child now may be more mature, more receptive to that. I think you're disagreeing with me. You don't want to tell me what's on your mind. You want to tell me what's on your mind. Well, okay then. So we're going to take a break now. So when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more to Onella. So see you soon.